एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निरभव निर्वैर अकाल मूर्त अजूनी सैभं गुर प्रसाद जप आद सच जुगाद सच है भी सच नानक होसी भी सच एक अद्वितीय गुरु नानक देवा ओंकार गुरु अंगद पेवा सतनाम गुरु अमर प्यारे करता रामदास गुरबारे पुरख सरी अर्जन सुखदानी निरभव हर गोबिंद गुण खानी निर्वैर गुरु है श्री हर राय अकाल मूर्त हर कृष्ण ते आए अजूनी तेग बहादुर राय सैभं गुर दसमें सहाय गुर प्रसाद ग्रंथ गुर ज्ञाना वाहि गुरु वंदन भगवाना पूर्ण गुरु ग्रंथ कल जुग पयो श्री गुरु रूप महान 10 पातशाह एहो रूप है गुरु ग्रंथ जी जान पूरन देखियो आत्मा द्वैत सर्वनिवार पै शांत मन शांते ते पद नमो हमार मुख उचरे शास्त्र खट पेंगरन छड़ जाए अंत लिखे बद रोशने जो काल कृपा कहाँ बुद्ध प्रभु तुझ हमारी बरन सके महिमा जो तिहारी हम ना सख्त कर सिर तुम्हारी आप ले हो तुम कदा सरारी सो कहो टल गुर सेविय अहनिस सहज सुभाय दर्शन परसिय गुरु के जन्म मरण दुख जाय दर्शन परसिय गुरु के जन्म मरण दुख जाय
सतनाम श्री वाहिगुरु साहिब जी सोचै सोच ना होवई जे सोची लख वार चुपै चुप ना होवई जे लाए रहा लिवतार भुखिया भुख न उतरी जे बन्ना पुरिया पार सैस सियानपा लख होए ता एक न चले नाल किव सचियारा होइए किव कूड़े टुटे पाल हुक्म रजाई चलना नानक लिखिया नाल
वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह Guru Sat Sangat. We're going to continue on with the definitions of the Sri Japji Sahib. We've done a couple of videos now on the Pauri, which Kamalpreet Singh has just recited. The number of definitions that we've completed, I think we've done 3 different types of definitions so far. We're going to go on to the next one. This one's from the Sampardaic by Santagani Gurbachan Pardeshi. It's within their Katha as well. Obviously it's expanded further once it's been written down in a commentary by Santagani Kartar Singh Pardeshi. And today we're going to go into that definition, and we'll start now.
Soche soch na howe.
Right. Soche soch na howe. Maharaj was asked a number of questions by the Siddhs. The Siddh said to them and said, look, if there are a number of people who, in order to gain the form of Vaheguru, in order to gain the true form within inside, Gurbani says, Mantu Jyotis Rupa Apana Mool Pashan. You need to realize what is your root, what is your root cause, what is your real identity. Understand that. And that, Gurbani, that is Sri Guru Amar Das Ji stating to the mind, that you need to understand what your real form is. And here the Siddhs have said, look, according to the people of the various religious diaspora, the religious communities, and those people who do not have a faith, they state that there are 4 ways for a person to maintain and become one with their true form. And the first one is to purify the body. The second one is to remain silent. The third one is to keep fasts, ritualistic fasts, to have a fast on specific days due to specific deities, or for the custom of your husband, or things like that. And the fourth one is through the knowledge and the wisdom contained within the religious texts. And Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji asked, said, look, with your grace, please tell us, do you think that a person can gain their true form through these ways, through these methods, through these techniques? And that's when Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji said, look, through these methods, a person cannot propagate the Lord. They cannot propagate Vaheguru in any way. And that's when Maharaj said, look, listen to me. That's when they recited Soche Soche na hovi. They said, look, Sids, if a person is to remain purified for externally due to washing, they said the problem is internally the mind is not being purified at all, and it remains dirty. And due to this,
Je sochi lakvar.
they said even if a person is to wash hundreds of thousands of times, wash their body again and again and again, even then the body is not purified, because you get sleep within your eyes, you get wax from your ears, you get phlegm from your throat. All these things come within the body, and those are considered to be dirty. Those are considered to be unclean. And even within the upper layer of skin, we're covered in dirt. There's sweat. There's things like that that are considered impure and considered dirty. And because of that, the body is not cleansed just through this method. Through this method, if it's not cleansed, then a person will not propagate the Lord. And Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji then continue on to talk about the second one. They said, look, obviously, we've told you now that according to our faith, according to our beliefs, a person cannot be purified just through the means of washing and ritualistic washing. And the Maharaj continued.
Chup na hove.
Maharaj says, look, just by remaining silent, verbally silent, by not speaking, then
Je lai raha livtar.
if a person is, even to remain silent to the point that it's like a stream of oil has no noise. It is constant. The flow is constant. It has no noise. It remains silent. Even if a person is to remain silent like that and does not ever speak, they don't wake while they're awake, they don't speak. While they're asleep, they don't speak. Even then, a person cannot gain the avastha. They cannot propagate the full form of Vaheguru within them. And previously we've given the Sakhi of Sri Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Whilst within their court a Muni came, a Sadhu came, a saint came. You can give that person those three terms, but he came and he was silent all the time. And through that method, Guru Gobind Singh Ji showed by making him talk that you can be silent from externally, but internally your mind is always talking. And so for that reason, just through the method of not talking will not bring one closer to God. And Maharaj still continues.
Pukhya pukhna uttari.
They say, look, by remaining, by keeping a fast, by people keeping a fast, they are not able to get rid of their desire and greed for materialistic objects. And that does not disappear. Here the book is not talking about physical food, it is talking about physical and mental things that a person is after. So a desire that they might have for gold, or they see somebody's car, or they see somebody's woman, those sorts of things do not disappear, because they said even if a person was to gain the vast wealths of the different deities' regions, the Puriya here means, like I said, different domains. So the domains of Vishnupuri, Brahmpuri, all these places, even if a person was to gain all these, then they will still not be content. And it's exactly the same now. You look at people in India, those people who have got nothing, go around picking things up from the squalid streets. They are never content. It doesn't matter how much they have. And then you look above them, those people with wealth, power, they're still not content. We're looking at businesses at the moment who have spent so much money getting financial advisors, putting money into offshore accounts and not paying taxes. But they're worth billions and billions and billions. But even at that level, they are still not content. And Maharaj says exactly the same. They say, Pukhya pukhanatri. They say the hunger, the thirst, the desire never seems to recede. Even if a person has all the wealth, all the riches possible, they still never ever seem to be content with what they have. And Maharaj continues. They said, look, Sahas here means 1,000. They said, if a person is to read 1,000 books and take all the knowledge from these books, then what does it matter if they've read all these books? What does it matter if they've learned all this knowledge? Because when they end up leaving this earth, when they end up leaving this domain, none of this knowledge will go with them. None of these books will go with them. No street smarts will go with them. When death comes, not one trick will be able to save them in any way. Whatever happens, they will not be able to deceive death, and they will succumb to death. Doesn't matter how much knowledge they have over alchemy and things like that, looking for a way to remain alive. It just will not happen. And Maharaj states there that whatever happens, you will not be able to take those tricks, that knowledge, that vidya with you in any way. And within all the tikas, there's a story of Aflatu. Aflatu was a advisor, a minister for, it says Sikandar Badsha. It doesn't say which Sikandar. The main Sikandar we know is Alexander the Great, but there was Sikandar Lodi, there were all sorts of others. I think this is an allegorical story that never actually took place, but has used real historical individuals in it. But basically, Aflatu was very, very clever. He was a good-looking individual. He retained a lot of knowledge, but he realised that his moment of death was approaching. And because he knew his moment of death was approaching and the angels of death would come for him, he decided to then use his knowledge and see what he could do to prevent his death. And what he did was he created a number of individuals who looked exactly the same in both characteristics and personality and with demeanour. He created a number of individuals. Now, like I said, I believe the story is allegorical because logistically, how would he do this? Although, if we are talking about Sikandar being Alexander the Great, at the time you had the Magi, the Persians and the Greeks all using magic, all using their abilities to do things. But here what happens is that he creates a number of exact duplicates or clones of himself. And when the angels of death arrive, they see that there's so many Aflatus. They see that there's so many identical versions of this individual. And because of that, they decide, look, we don't know which person's soul to take. So for that reason, we don't want to make a mistake. We'll just go back. All of the angels of death, all of the Jamdut went back to Dharamraj. Dharamraj is the righteous king. And they spoke to the righteous king and said, look, we had commands to go on and bring Aflatu here. The problem we have is that we don't know which individual there is actually Aflatu. And Jamaraj says that's easy. What you do is you play on that person's pride. You play on that person's lack of ability to control their mind and their mouth. And then he taught them a trick, and he said, right, go down to earth and do this, and then this person will show themselves to be the true person, and at that point kill them and bring them here so they can be judged. So the angels of death all went back to the place where Aflatu resided. Once they got there, they saw the number of Aflatus and said, look, whoever is considered Aflatu, you are to stand in this line. And all of the clones, including the original, the actual Aflatu, stood in a line. The angels of death then went up and down having a look at the characteristics of each one. And each time they looked at them, they couldn't tell which one Aflatu was. But then what they did was they played a trick. One of the angels of death said, oh look, this must be Aflatu. Or they said, look, there are two stories. One says that, oh, this must be Aflatu because he has a bent nose. His nose is crooked. And the other version is where a person says, all these clones are absolutely perfect. However, this one's not that good because it's got a crooked nose. And at that point, Aflatu, who stood in line with all of his clones, rose his voice and said, how dare you? These are all perfect and they are in my image. And at that point, the angels of death basically detained him and beat him and took him to Dharamraj for whatever sins he had committed. But yeah, the story shows that obviously it didn't matter what trickery, what vidya or knowledge that he had picked up. That vidya knowledge did not mean anything at the time because all these strengths that a person believes that they gain from religious texts are all left behind, and they will cause you nothing but pain in the end, because you will believe that you are superior through that knowledge. But in actual fact, death is inevitable for everybody. And that's the story. I was going to do another Saki of Janamidja, but I think one is enough for this one. And what we'll do is we'll leave the video there, and next time we'll continue on. So, Kamalpreet Singh, if you are ready, if you can read the Pauri, please.
ਸੋਚੈ ਸੋਚ ਨਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਜੇ ਸੋਚੀ ਲੱਖ ਵਾਰ ਚੁੱਪੈ ਚੁੱਪ ਨਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਜੇ ਲਾਏ ਰਹਾ ਲਿਵਦਾਰ ਭੁਖਿਆ ਭੁਖ ਨਾ ਉਤਰੀ ਜੇ ਬੰਨਾ ਪੁੜੀਆ ਪਾਰ ਸੈਸ ਸਿਆਣ ਪਾਰ ਲੱਖ ਹੋਏ ਤਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਨਾ ਚੱਲੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਿਵ ਸਚਿਆਰਾ ਹੋਈਐ ਕਿਵ ਕੂੜੇ ਟੁੱਟੇ ਪਾਰ ਹੁਕਮ ਰਜਾਈ ਚੱਲਣਾ ਨਾਨਕ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਨਾਲ
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਹੇ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਹੇ ਗੋਪਾਲ ਹੇ ਦਿਆਲ ਲਾਲ ਪ੍ਰਾਨਨਾਥ ਅਨਾਥ ਸਕੇ ਦੀਨ ਦਰਦ ਨਿਵਾਰ ਹੇ ਸਮਰਥ ਅਗਮ ਪੂਰਨ ਮੋਹਿ ਮੈਂ ਆਤਾਰ ਅੰਧਕੂਪ ਮਹਾਭਿਆਨ ਨਾਨਕ ਪਾਰਿ ਉਤਾਰ ਹਾਏ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਸਰਨਾਗਤੀ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਨਿਧ ਦਿਆਲ ਏਕ ਏਕ ਰਾਨ ਮਨ ਵਸਤੈ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਤਿ ਨਿਹਾਲ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਮ ਜਹਾਂ ਜਹ ਚਲੇ ਸੋ ਤਰੇ ਪਾਰ ਜੋ ਸ਼ਰਧਾ ਕਰ ਸੇਵਤੇ ਗੁਰ ਪਾਰਿ ਉਤਾਰਨਹਾਰ ਜੋ ਸ਼ਰਧਾ ਕਰ ਸੇਵਤੇ ਗੁਰ ਪਾਰਿ ਉਤਾਰਨਹਾਰ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।